we can get it right. So we are Dee and Larry Corchin here for Team Time Monday, March 30th. We're coming into the close of the month. Oh my gosh, does this feel like the longest month ever? Man, have things changed since we started everything out on the first of the month. But we are proud of you guys for being here, and we're going to have another week of a lot of open time for us to just connect and talk about how you're processing through all the changes that are happening in the world and navigating your own personal health and your business. But before we do that, we're going to take a minute to do a wrap up. Back on March 1st, we actually launched our team rally, the Back to Basics. So you want to take over?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, congratulations to everybody that participated. I think, if anything, kind of like the video we just saw, we may not want to, but we find when we do and we get into either creation or learning mode, it does have a huge benefit. So tonight I'm announcing the winners of week 4, kind of everything at one time. So here we go. So runner-up overall, again, if you look at all 4 weeks, there were 92 possible points that were out there. So what I did was I looked across all 4 weeks and I totaled them up. And the runner-up for, let's say, again, the runner-up to the champion was Ruth Benoit. She had 82 out of 92 points. So congratulations, Ruth.
Does she hear us? Yeah, go Ruth. So Ruth, you are going to get $50 from us. We have a couple of different ways that you can take that as an Amazon card or to buy some Optavia gear or use it towards wellness credits, towards new clients, however you want to use it. But thank you for being so consistent throughout the Back to Basics.
Yep. And for the champion of the entire month, as far as just killing it, knocking it out of the park with 85 out of the 92 points, Elaine Yazison in Colorado. Congratulations, Elaine.
Yay. So Elaine is going to get $75 to apply to one of those areas. And we're going to have Elaine talk to us because she and I did some Marco Poloing today, and I loved what she was talking about with the challenge. So Elaine, if you can unmute yourself and share with us.
Sure thing. Yeah.
There she is.
There she is.
Yeah. Hey, everybody out here in Colorado. First of all, thank you guys very much for putting together the challenge and coming up with the idea. Really appreciate it. It definitely motivated me to get things done, which, is perfect for that intro that we just watched. I was telling Dee earlier, I did not join this challenge to win prizes. The prizes are great. But for me, I really needed to set some structure. And that really set the structure for me. And for, they've been saying tips on some of the calls about, take 5 minutes on your life book. And for whatever reason, having the pages to do made a huge difference for me. And that very first week when I set my mind to doing those pages and really taking time to comprehend those pages, it blew my mind. I mean, that was another call that I had with Dee. I was like, Dee, it was like the door opened and I came out on this other side, learning all these other things because I'm on maintenance right now. I lost my weight a while ago. And so, now I'm working on some of those other parts in the life book, and to just have that stuff click for me was incredible. It also pushed me to do a live. So I now do a weekly live. It's, kind of my walk with Elaine, and I've had huge response with that. People love it. And it worked out perfect with the life book because I was able to use each of those elements of the life book and basically, form my my chat for my walk around those. So it worked out great. But just having those, okay, I've got to get this done today. I want to do this today. Having that structure made a huge difference for me. And I'm really getting a lot of activity on my Facebook page, on my stories, on everything. So it's helped a lot. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Elaine.
All righty. Well, good stuff. Well, again, congratulations to everyone. My suggestion, again, just because of the rally and everything, try to follow the same structure. Continue to incorporate that into your days and weeks ahead. Again, getting through the life book, I think it's a great way to get through the life book, and you're going to get stuck there and you're going to enjoy, again, some of the learnings you have and some of the personal growth as you go through it. So again, encouraging you to go there.
I wanted to add one thing. What Elaine said, so often I'll hear from coaches, and even myself, sometimes I think, like, what am I going to talk about if I do a live? Or I can't think of a thing to post. But Elaine was so right. Like, pick up Dr. A's Habits of Health or pick up the Life Book, and it is rich with tips and information that you could build any kind of conversation or post around.
Yeah, and like that video earlier, don't worry about how it's going to come out. Just do it, and you'll get better, and you'll improve each and every time. So so anyway, I'm an example of that. But anyway, so let's move on to good things happening.
So who was on? Just put yes in the comments, and if you loved it, who was on our first live trilogy webinar on Saturday that we did? Yeah, did you guys like it? I mean, thank you for the feedback that we got. I want to personally thank Meg Johnson, was heavily involved with Susan Palace and I in the planning of that. This was new for us, so we were, going into uncharted waters, but so appreciative of her help. And then we had Lauren Yeomans and Shauna and Frank. Did they not deliver beautifully their stories? And so thank you for that. And we had 100 people on that. We filled the Zoom room, so we had 100 people on it live. We had almost 200 people that were watching the Facebook Live simultaneously while it was happening. And then because we've been sharing that out, we've had almost 1,800 views of that webinar out there. So you had something to say about that.
Yeah, no, I think it's indicative of where we are right now. I think there's a lot of people that want our home. All right. So, I mean, we didn't plan, we planned the 28th a long time ago. It was going to be a live event here in Atlanta. But I think the environment that we were in, that people were home and they were able to jump on from home, I think that was one thing that helped us get the message out. And I think a lot of people right now are concerned. They're concerned about their health or the health of a loved one. They're concerned about jobs. And I think, again, we have an offering that people are, I pray, are waking up to. That again, we're ahead of the curve. We've always known we've been ahead of the curve as far as the epidemic in this country, as far as weight and nutrition. And so I'm thankful for that, because I'm thankful that people will be reaching out to us to engage.
Yeah. So you can still work that video. So in two ways, it was posted in our Facebook group. There's a Vimeo video link. So that's just, something that a clean copy that you can just send to somebody in a private message. You could send it to somebody in an email. Let's say a month from now, you're having a conversation with somebody about the program or coaching. You've got your own personal trilogy now that you could send, especially if you think one of the stories on there, or having Dr. Michael Smith from WebMD, if you think that would be helpful, use that tool to reinforce what you shared with somebody. And then you can continue to share it. If you haven't shared it on Facebook yet, go ahead and share it. You could do a watch party with it. Like, it is, still really relevant. We're only 48 hours out from it. So really encourage you to take advantage of that. Dominique, you just asked where to find the Vimeo. I'll tag you, but it's actually, I did a post in Coaches Opt for Change with how to best utilize the event. So it's there.
Thank you.
And there's a question about a watch party. So we'll have information about that too. Carol, you share on Facebook. If you go to his share under that Facebook Live, one of the options is to do a watch party. And what that means is it goes to your page and it says, Carol is hosting a watch party. You can put a few comments about what it is, the topic, and then as it's playing for the next hour, you can keep track of people that are watching it. Like, it'll say, Susan Smith just joined your watch party. So I like the watch party approach because you can track it and then follow up with the person and say, hey, thanks for hopping on. I'd love your feedback on it. Cool.
Awesome. All right, the next thing, Forward in Health, they're not calling it incentive, but it's kind of an incentive. So the Forward in Health program that was introduced last week, we posted that out there in the coaches group as well, and just wanted to pop that up here to see if there were any further questions on that. I didn't want to spend a lot of time tonight, but if there's any further questions on that that we can address for you. Just pop it in the chat.
Just
or-
pop in the chat if you want us to spend time. Basically, what it is two things. For every 5 new clients that you sponsor or a reactivated client who hasn't ordered since the dates are specified in there in December, that basically for every 5 that meet the minimum frontline qualification volume, they're giving $250 bonus for every 5 that you acquire between March 23rd and April 19th. I can pull up a slide on the dates. I think somebody asked what the dates were, but it's, let me just see on that real quick.
23rd through the 19th.
Yeah, 23rd through the 19th. And then there's, can you guys see that? I lost you guys.
We can't see if they're saying anything. This one.
Yeah, we can see it.
Thank you for answering me. Okay, cool. I got lost you guys on it. So basically, there's 2 things. There's the client orders, and then for new coaches that come on, the dates for the new coaches are March 9th to April 19th. So if they come in and they acquire 5 clients in their first 30 days, and they came in on those dates, the CAB is doubled. Not only for them, it's doubled to $200, but it's also doubled for you as the sponsoring coach. So that's pretty sweet. Again, through April 19th. And then for the clients, the dates on it, any client that has not ordered since December 23rd is a reactivated client that qualifies. And then it's the same dates through April 19th on this. Unmute yourself if you've got any questions on it or not sure how to move forward with this.
Hey, just curious. I mean, like, obviously so many people are maybe in a position where finances are really tight. And like if they have a question about exactly how quickly these bonuses might be paid.
Oh, I saw something on that, Debbie. I can post it in the thing. It's that they do it usually as soon as you have your first 5 clients, you would get your first $250. You know, your client assist comes in that weekly paycheck when you, and the actual bonus on top of it would come as soon as they did it in the following pay for it.
So like a new coach, let's say they hit their 5, they would get their $250 and their CAB pretty quickly, or does the CAB wait until like the 15th?
It comes right after they acquire their 5 within the 30. I'll double check that in the FAQs, but it always has been as soon as they have their first 5, that CAB is issued in the next pay.
And then the $350 normal, pay comes on the 15th, right?
Yeah, they would get their normal weekly on it. We get our weekly where we earn the
Okay.
15%, and then they, if they reach the senior coach rank, then they get the additional 5% in their bonus.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, let's just take it to general questions and comments. You know, I think our environment, you know, last week, I think we were all very much in shock by what was happening. And now we're kind of settling in, like we recognize that it's till at least April 30th that we're in this, this new normal. And we'd just love to hear from you guys. How are you doing personally navigating this? And if you've had anything personal, mindset wise or action wise that has helped you that you think would help the team, would love to hear from that as well.
It's Carol. I actually have a question. I'd love input from you both and from anybody on the team. I had for the first time a client say that because their husband is not employed now, that she cannot afford to continue on the program currently. And so I'd love to hear some suggestions on how to respond to that. And other than, of course, sorry to hear it, she's not interested in coaching. And neither is her husband.
Sorry, that's a good question, Carol. So, again, that's unfortunate that they're not open to coaching because, again, just with the incentives that we have, I mean, it's very attractive, especially this month, to jump on and jump into coaching. There are a couple things you can do, though. One of the things, of course, incentives, right? Giving a discount off if they don't want to go into coaching, referrals, okay? So if they bring you a referral, $25 off for a referral, that as far as going into their program, that helps them from that standpoint. We all know the net benefit, okay? I'm sorry, what is it?
Okay, what can you do?
I didn't know what that was.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, I apologize. So that would be one thing. The other thing too, as far as incentives for the client is, we all know that, again, a lot of times it's cheaper to be on program. Okay, so it's cheaper to be on program from the standpoint of they're not going out. We've heard a lot of clients actually say, I'm saving money because I'm not going out right now. I'm not, my lean and green and stuff like that. So we're not going out to restaurants. So that's a huge win as far as that goes. And then lastly, one of the things that I've, it's something to consider, right? If everybody is going to get, most people are going to get $1,200 per person, okay, from the government. That pays for 3 months of food, okay? So right there. Now, again, if you have a couple, it's twice that amount, okay? For most people, right? High income earners, of course, they're not getting that. But again, so they're getting money in from there, as well as they still have their unemployment. So again, working that through and say, hey, help me help you in understanding how we can make this work, because it's so important to your health. And again, we don't want people to be in risk. Most of our clients are at risk, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, all that kind of stuff. So again, working with them to try to figure out a budget to try to get it in to, keep them on program from that standpoint. It's a hard conversation, especially if if you feel that their mind is made up that they can't do it, say, I'd love to share some ideas I have if you're open to the ideas. That's one of the things that, a lot of people, they may not be open. So you've got to check with them to see if they're open to discuss it first and be sensitive to that. Once they're open, then maybe you can go down those paths. So those are a few of the ideas there.
I
was going to respond to that question about the client who was saying she can't afford it. I actually just had a client last week when I spoke to her. She said she's going to go on hold for a month. She just can't do it. She needs to take a break, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay. And then, so we did talk about well, maybe you could do 3 and 3, or, what are your options here? And she said that she basically at the end of the conversation, she still wanted her weekly call. She still wanted to be paying attention to the newsletter and the webinars. And then today when I did my call with her, she said, actually, I want to start back. So it took her 1 week to finally be like, actually, I don't want to leave. So sometimes just sending love and just saying, I'm here for you. I support you. I understand where you are. And what can I do to help you get through this? Because this isn't going to last forever. That was all it took with this girl.
Yeah, I love what you said before, exactly layering on what Larry said. And I think if we can help them from the approach of what can you do, and trying to get from that all or nothing mindset, or thinking that this is a luxury or something that is really helping to bring them to their goals. So hopefully that helps you, Carol. Lauren, we were talking earlier, and Meg, did you have something to share?
Sure. Yeah. And I loved what you guys just shared. I was going to say something else that I talked about today with a client was looking at what she typically spends a month and what she spent this last month. Because I don't know about you guys, but I feel like for my husband and I, our costs have gone drastically down with hanging out in the house all the time. So just something to think about. But yeah, I think I've had a few mindset shifts over the last week. And I think something for me, I know a lot of my coaches have said it's been hard to post. I don't know how to show up on social media. I don't know what to say. I'm struggling a lot. You know, they'll tell me this, like, I'm struggling a lot emotionally. I don't know how to put that out there. And I think the truth is that people love, we're all going through this together, right? We all are struggling with our emotions. But it's just, how are we going to control that? And how are we going to help people to take control over their emotions and over the circumstances that they can control? And something that really hit me during our dream team call last week was Meg said, you know, kind of taking it back to why we decided to start coaching, and said, you know, where would you have been if you didn't see a post, or if someone didn't take the time to share their story? You know, where would you be without this journey? And I think that really helped me to step back and say, okay, like, this is why, you know, people need us now more than ever, you know. And I think that's been a great mindset shift for me, of just remembering why it is that we do what we do. And just staying, you know, I think Meg even mentioned this. I don't know if she's on the call or not tonight, but Meg even mentioned, you know, when we're doing our calls, just being there for our clients, even as a friend, you know, of just, how are you doing in your world? And maybe not even bringing up the food unless they bring it up, or the nutrition, or what they're doing, you know, but just being there for people. Because I think that's what people really need right now. And of course, so much of our emotions are linked to our healthy habits, right? So that's something that I feel like has been helpful for me. I haven't had time to read all these responses. I don't know if I should respond to any of these chats.
That's okay.
Thank you, Lauren. That was great.
That's great. Thanks. Well, you know, again, Lauren, that was great points. I mean, one of the things, and there's a couple things. First of all, today, Dr. A had a recording out there at 5 o'clock, just talking about what's going on in the world and how we can or can't control certain things in our lives from that standpoint. And he talked about a lot about anxieties, not just with coaches, but with clients as well. And one of the things that is so important is that it's okay if any one of us or any one of our clients want to kind of just hide. You know, I mean, that's a tendency, or put their head in the sand, like, just gotta withdraw. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. That's the way they process, okay? There are other people that are kind of like in the middle. They may have good days, they may have bad days, but they're kind of waffle in the middle. And then there's people that are opportunistic or optimistic as well, okay, during this time frame, because they see something bad and they say, I can make this better, okay, from that perspective. None of them are wrong. They're you know, I mean, I've learned a long time ago that, you know, your thinking is your thinking. All right. And that's just the way you are. So we have to understand that and respect that from that perspective. However, okay, we have to look at bigger pictures sometimes. And even though we may want to hide, and even though we're not sure what we want to do, okay, at the end of the day, we have to almost kind of push things away from us a bit that don't directly impact us. Okay, because it does impact our health. Okay, so we work with the Blanchard Group, and you know, a lot of this stuff is just, I'm regurgitating what I've learned. Okay, so those anxieties that don't impact us directly, we have to almost put up a stop sign and say, I've got to do the do. All right, I've got to do the do. So for example, the truck driver, I got a client, he's a truck driver. He gets enough sleep right now to get up and then do it all over again. And he's running a lot of hours to get food, get medical supplies, get things to where they need to be, right? There's electricians, there's internet providers, there's technology guys now that are working ridiculous hours trying to do things that need to be done. And of course, our military, right? They're working really hard each and every day. We're medical workers, okay? Just like doctors, we're not on the front line, but we're close in that we're trying to help the whole system. But doctors have to be on their front line, even though they may have those anxieties and they have those fears that are going on in their head. So my point to all of this, and you know, again, what we've learned is that we still need to show up each and every day, because people depend on us. People depend on us for our inspirational posts. We don't know how our posts are going to be met, and we say the right thing, and we know that a client takes action on that, and it means so much from that perspective. So I share this with you just as some encouragement tonight to say, you know, if you're feeling really down, that's okay. But seek, you know, the guidance of your coach, work it out. And remember, people need you, okay? We all need each one of us on the line here tonight, but people need us. And then we can, you know, continue to go on and help people through. So that's just, I wanted to share that because, again, I heard it from Dr. A. In fact, he went a step further, which I thought about. He used the Kennedy approach. Ask not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. But, you know, it's something we have to consider and think. And again, this too shall pass. So.
Yeah. I had shared, I think it was good. I shared with the executive directors a quote that I had heard around leaders. And it said that, you know, if a leader is nothing than somebody who has different resources or a different mindset than other people. And I think as Optavians, we totally do, right? Like we are leaps and bounds beyond how a lot of people think because of what we've learned through the Habits of Health and the Life Book and the Healthy Mind aspect of our program, in addition to Healthy Body. And, you know, basically it was said, if you are a leader, we have a responsibility to be out there and share with others. And that kind of made me convicted of, you know what, we have something that changes lives. And so I would just encourage, if you're not sure what to do, just at least be out there once a day, at least on social media, with a thoughtful post. Lives are terrific right now. People love to hear our voice, give some tips on anything, you know, but people are hungry. Another coach was telling me she was getting such incredible response to her positive attitude out there on social media.
As well as your humor. I mean, there's some unbelievable humor. I can always count on every morning Lori Weiner being out there with an unbelievable, I mean, I just cry how funny they are. But anyway, so again, you know, showing up in who you are and sharing is so important right now. And again, if we haven't emphasized it, you guys are doing an excellent job. We're having a very good month, again, from a number standpoint. And all that means is we're helping people. Okay, remember that we're helping people, and don't, please, you know, try not to grow tired in that, because again, so many people need us right now. And again, I'm totally convinced, and you know, Dr. A, you know, mentioned it again. We are positioned in the right place right now because this country needs us.
Absolutely. I love the interaction, you guys, in our chat of helping each other out with your ideas. So fantastic. I love this. Why I love this community. Zena.
I had one thing to share. All my clients that I spoke to today all sort of said the same thing, that they're so out of control with everything that's going on in the world right now. And, you know, so I brought it back to them that we don't have any control of what's happening, but we do have control of our health and what we're putting into our bodies right now. And when we're doing that, I mean, it's just like, we can handle things better just taking care of ourselves and getting ourselves healthy. The other thing was where people were talking about as far as not able to have the money, but when it comes back down to that $13 a day, you know, people are off and people may have the money, but when they bring it back to that $13 a day, that they just sort of take another look. And, you know, it just, I always like to do that rather than the big number. And it just sounds different to them. So I just wanted to share that. And and with everyone who felt the out of control, and I brought that back, I sent them to the emotions, element 23, and to their eating out of their emotions and all of that. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Zena. Really great perspective. And I love that you just, you took a situation, you tried to reframe it for somebody, and that's exactly what we do as coaches. Thank you guys for being on tonight. We encourage you to go over to Dr. A's call and the subsequent calls after that. All the links are in our coaches Facebook group. As we approach the end of the month, thank you for everybody that you've been helping, and really encourage you to go ahead and work on your maps now, your monthly action plan to lay out your goals for April. So we love you guys. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you again next week.